Thank you very much. My name is Tom Burgeni. I'm one of the assistant debate coaches. Marvin Carter over there, he's also an assistant debate coach. Sierra Hawley is on the award-winning team. Basically, all the varsity division winnings that we had was her and her partner, Candace Tay. And Andrew Botwin is the novice debater. That the two tournaments that we won is Andrew Botwin. And without further ado, we start our debate. Thank you.
Oh, it's a big timer. Cool. Alrighty. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Well, for a long time, porn ruled supreme on the internet. Yes, I said pornography. You know, there's no doubt that pornography holds a large portion of the world's internet traffic, but right now, for the last few years, social media has surpassed pornography right now on the internet. And the definition of social media is web applications that enable users to create and share content on the web, or things like cellular phones and tablets. Now, examples include collaborative projects like Wikipedia, social networking sites like Instagram or Twitter, Facebook, and content community programs like Vines and YouTube, and microblogs. Now, the pros and digitals of social media and digital flyers is what our topic is today, is that evidence proves that more people are likely to attend events if they are given through electronic means or digital means, because of the large demographic that has increased over the years, where not only is social media helpful for a younger audience, there's evidence that shows that users as old as 50 or above are now engaging in social media sites like Twitter. And so mature audiences are more likely to see events, and also it's an easy way to authenticate whether an event is real and whether or not people are going to go. Because if you have a Facebook page and you create an event for Facebook, people can see that how many people are attending, and then audience is able to, ask questions about the event, and people can see that. And once they see that, they're more likely to show up because they can see how many people are actually going to be at the event. And so it's a confirmation list. And it's an interactivity, which I already showed, since people are more likely to engage with the potential audience that are most likely to come to the event. Now, another pro is that it's lower cost. You don't have to pay for printing or for individuals to pass out flyers if you had to pay for people of that sort of thing, because you see people on campus and they pass out flyers for certain restaurants, and that's because they're getting paid to do so. Whereas if you had digital means, you don't have to pay for costs of that nature. You don't have to pay for printing costs, and you don't have to determine how much paper you're going to actually need. And another thing is that it's unlimited distribution. Since it's electronic, you have basically can share it to anybody, so you don't have to worry about things of that nature either. And some of the cons of using paper resources is that, for one, littering. What do you see what most students do? You see a lot of the flyers get torn down and then thrown on the ground on campus. Also, when people pass out flyers, students tend to look at it and then just throw it away. That's what they do, honestly. And also, it's a limited audience. You don't really get to, there's no way to determine how many people are actually getting the flyers that you pass out to them. And so there is no way to see that if people are actually hearing the message when you pass it out that way. And higher costs. It costs money to print out flyers, to use color ink, things of that nature. So basically, this is why the knowledge of the event is the first and foremost, the most important thing. So that's why Marvin and I proposed that electronic use of electronic flyer is the best way to promote people, to get them to get to an event. And that's all I have to say. 2 minutes. You can go for cross now.
All right. You mentioned in your speech that a more mature audience are more likely to use Facebook or any sort of digital
Twitter,
media.
yes.
Where is your evidence from?
From social media sites.
Do you have any particular evidence, or is it just?
Well, it's not only just that. I have editors that have written newspaper articles on this. I can get you newspaper articles, but I did not prepare that for this debate because I didn't know we were going to go into evidence authenticity claims.
Okay.
But
what about the cost? Are you particularly talking about the cost of printing, or is it the cost per lead that you're talking about?
I am talking about specifically, my speech was the cost of printing. That's my main point, and also the cost of, administration.
Distribution.
Yes, if you have to pay people to stand out and pass out flyers.
So the littering part that you're talking about, the pollution and all that stuff. So your claim is that digital media doesn't pollute as much as paper does.
I would say that it doesn't cost. Yes, I would say that. Yes.
Okay.
You said it looks more real on the website.
I said it looks more authentic. People are more likely to say, okay, it legitimizes the event.
Post something on Facebook, or is it easier to go out and have something printed and paid for?
I think it's easier to post
distributed?
something on the internet.
But which one looks more real as related?
I think the internet does.
Okay.
For the reasons that I mentioned, was that people are likely to see who's invited and who's coming to the event, and they can talk to the people. So
Okay.
that's what I think.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
You're ready.
Good morning. First, I'll be going over my opponent's arguments and then onto some of our own. First, we'll look at the demographic and find that more people are easier to access at younger age groups and older. And second, we'll say that just because something looks real on the internet does not mean it's real. Refer back to cross-examination, where if you have to go out and print something and have it paid to distribute, it's obviously going to look more real. You're going to have more people attending because they know somebody put through the work to get it done. Also, they said that it's a lower cost. You don't have to pay for the paper and you don't have to pay for the people. But later we'll find that that's a good investment cost because we'll find you have a return on it when you have that physical connection next. We'll find that littering, you actually damage the environment more when you're on the social media websites and using electronics more than you do when using paper. And finally, they said that we can't determine how many people see it. The thing is, you don't know how many people are just scrolling past your posts on Facebook instead of handing something to them and seeing that they look at it in their hand next. We want to start our reputation by saying that we're not against digital marketing. Digital marketing is here to stay, but what sets us apart from the affirmative is that we believe digital media has to be supplemented by print media. Here are 9 reasons why. First, visibility. 1, flyers are versatile. You can put them on walls, bulletin boards, light posts, windows, basically anything you can tape it to. At the same time, you can have people hand them out. All these methods ensure that by the end of the day, someone will know your message, whether it's because they saw it for the 20th time walking from Science 2 to Family Food, or because they're fishing it out of their pockets. Forbes magazine notes that tangibility is important because it allows you to, 1, physically interact with information, and 2, the information stays around for days or weeks without disappearing into cyberspace. Although we'd like to think that email is one of the most efficient ways of communication because we can send it to one another in a matter of seconds, it does not mean that people are reading those emails. Students are the largest population on campus and are absolutely notorious for not checking their emails. Even if students do log in, we get our assignment and get out. We don't stick around to read every little newsletter on what's happening on campus, which would explain my 402 unread emails. 2, reduced competition. Bob McCarthy, direct response for consultant for print and online advertisement, says that you'll have a greater response for print media because there's less competition. People go online because it's cheap and easy to do, which has left an open market for printing. Next, Gregory Hamill from the Small Business Chronicle also says that printing is better for reaching small, localized niches. This is because you can physically reach out to your community, creating a better personal connection. So when you pay those people to go out and hand out flyers, you create that personal connection, having your event better well known. Next, retention. Arthur D. Santana, Randall Livingston, and U2 of the University of Oregon found that when people physically have something in their hands, they significantly retain more of the information compared with digital media. 4, attention span. People get distracted very easily online. There's so much digital clutter that you lose your focus when you're only using digital media. Instead of only looking at the flyer, people are checking Facebook, Twitter, shopping. And on top of that, you're competing with ads everywhere. Digital media is fast-paced and your audience will quickly lose its focus. Next, credibility. Print flyers set you apart from your event and set your event apart and give it more credibility. Joe Pulizzi, the author of Epic Marketing and founder of Content Marketing Institute, which runs the industry's largest content marketing event, says in an article written for LinkedIn that the printed word is still perceived as more credible to many people than anything on the web. It goes to the old adage, if someone invested enough to print it and mail it, it must be important. 6, popularity. Young people prefer print over digital. Surprising, actually. According to Joe Silva and Lisa Ordway, a common argument against spending money on print is that the current generation of consumers is all digital. A 2012 study by Two Sides says that over 2/3 of people in the 18 to 24 demographic prefer print and paper to reading off the screen. Digital has immediacy, print has permanency. Both have their place in the marketing campaign. 7, response rate. Response rate is much higher for print than digital. Lisa Ordway, co-founder of Full Circle Design, says a well-run direct mail campaign can offer up to a 3.4% response rate. That may not sound like a lot, but compared with an average of 0.1% on an email campaign with the same information going to the same amount of consumers, it's a massive improvement. Cost. But it'll still cost more to mail something printed to send it out, right? Good question. However, the raw cost of campaign isn't the true test of success. Cost per lead is. The DMA reports that the cost per lead of direct mail is in line with print and pay-per-click, significantly less than telemarketing. Direct mail production costs are somewhat more than email, but not enough to make email the holy grail of direct marketing. 9, the environment. Don Cartley is a senior fellow with the nonprofit Institute for Sustainable Communication, where he is the director of the Sustainable Advertising Partnership and other corporate responsibilities and sustainability programs. He writes an article for PBS. There is a growing recognition that digital media technology uses significant amounts of energy from coal-fired power plants, which are making a significant contribution to global warming. Greenpeace estimates that by 2020, data centers will demand more electricity than is currently demanded by France, Brazil, Canada, and Germany combined. What is less widely known as the mountaintop removal. I have 45 seconds. What is less widely known as the mountaintop removal of coal mining is also a major cause of deforestation, biodiversity loss, and the pollution of 1,200 miles of headwater streams in the United States. Chances are that the electricity flowing through your digital media devices and their servers is linked to the mountaintop removal coal from the Appalachian Mountains. The southern Appalachian Forest region of the U.S. is responsible for 23% of all coal production in the United States, and 57% of electricity generated in the United States comes from coal. Also, you'll find later that these same companies using paper are actually replanting the forest and making it viable to sustainably keep the environment up. So littering may be a problem, but you're still going to find that deforestation outweighs because we have a way to replace the trees rather than the coal emissions going to fuel your electronic devices.
I noticed that you said in one of your evidence that you said that when paper is distributed to a lower audience or a smaller audience, that's more effective, but is Fresno State University a small audience?
Yes.
Why would you say that?
Because if you're using social media, social media is
is
something huge though, so you're sending messages nationally.
Yeah,
the people we're trying to focus are the people walking outside out there. On their average day, they can see the flyers, they can see what's going on their wall.
that a small audience, but okay.
Our evidence also shows
That's
that
good.
it's,
I like
the
that.
city is a small audience.
Next question was, let's see, you say that it costs more to use electronic means?
Yes.
How is that?
Because when you're looking at the pay-per-view that you have to see for people actually looking at what you posted, it's going to cost more because you have to have it more. You have to have it out there more than
Wait,
printing
how
a
does
flyer.
that cost? I don't understand. Exactly.
It's a cost per lead. Our evidence indicates that the leads that you get,
Leads?
yeah,
The
the
click.
lead. So how many people will come back to you and respond to your
How is that
event?
a cost? Where is the money in that?
Because you have to price how many people
Why would you have to
actually
price?
click
Oh, so you
what
have
you're
to
looking
price.
at, and that's the problem. People
Yeah.
don't click on it. They
Where's
don't
the
look at
money?
it.
I don't
The
understand.
production doesn't cost as much.
Okay.
The amount of leads that you get back, the cost to get the same number of people back to your event is going to cost more if you do it
Are
digitally
you
than
saying
paper.
that your amounts are projected on the case if people don't show up to the event? That's what you're saying? The cost of
People looking
confirmation,
at the
people
information.
confirming?
It's
You have
not
less
com-
people looking at the information, so you
Because
have
I
to
don't
have
understand how an electronic flyer can cost anything. That doesn't
You're
make sense to
particularly
me.
talking about the production of those
Yeah.
things. It's not about the production.
Okay.
There are other costs
All
in
right,
there.
another question I have. Okay, does your evidence, you said that students prefer print over digital, right? Are you talking about books, or is your evidence talking about books, or is it talking about electronic flyers?
We're talking about
Let me take
particularly
your word.
text media and advertising.
There are several different things that were just mentioned that are probably going to be at tension with actuality. Let's start with the real. What is real anyways in the first place? If you break down what is real, questions of authenticity, you're just going to run yourself in circles. Because there's no way to really say what is truly authentic, what is going to be truly something that someone's going to grasp onto. It's actually something that we're not going to really attempt to focus on. A couple reasons why. One, if you look at social media, is it real? Is it not real? Is this real? Is this physical mean that it's real? If you want to talk about what's physical and that's really going to hold in our minds, then let's think about it. When we go to pass out a flyer, what is the first thing someone wants to do? I'm going to look at my phone because I hope they don't hand me a flyer, right? They're going to look more physically at the phone that never leaves their side. They're going to look at the apps that they constantly never log out of. If you want to talk about, oh, you got to make sure we check for the clicks, well, let's look to other types of digital campaign and marketing. What they actually do is they go, say you're part of Stomp, right, which is a musical group that uses like trash cans and brooms to make music. Say your numbers are declining. What do? You go to a marketing campaign. They're like, well, this is how we can help you. Where's your Facebook page? Where are your online kind of events that you actually work with? What they do is they boost the amount of people following you, such as things like Instagram. By this, you increase directly awareness. By this awareness, you allow for the potentiality of more people to be there in the first place, right? So unless you're able to build a substantial amount of awareness, then it's going to be irrelevant. If you have a stack of flyers that are sitting outside, walking by, yeah, we printed it, we're going to guarantee we're going to get some people. No. If that was true, then we wouldn't have an issue in the first place, and your numbers would continue to grow. Clearly, status quo is not working. Their argument really is like, hey, look, let's have a combination of both things. Okay, that's a lot of debate, right? Let's just say we'll use both. Sure, we'll agree. That is obviously the best thing to do, right? I'm sure there's times when we can use small pockets, such as little types of events where we can say, yeah, this paper's going to be fine. But for the most part, if we're talking about the majority, because of the ability to access so many different people at any time of the day, anywhere in the world, digital media substantially is the better way for us to be able to give an outlet of any kind of awareness to any kind of public address. Now, they made a bunch of different arguments talking about, for example, handouts off of more physical use. They talked about how emails are going to be relevant. Sure, everybody knows a lot of their emails go to their spam folders. Students are emailing you, you're like, I'm not going to be here during spring break. I'm going to give you this automated response. Like, we're not trying to work with our emails. So we're not going to say that that's something that's uncontested. However, if you look to these forms of online printing versus these kind of local situations, a lot of the local situations that we're looking at now, the best way for us to go about addressing them is look at the demographic. The resolution says, what's the best way to target the audience? What is the audience, right? If you have to think about particularly, if you want to address a targeted group, if you're going to talk to, a 24-year-old black male who perhaps goes to an Ivy League school versus how you're going to talk to maybe your senior female, who's probably not working anymore. Like, you'd be like, should I address them the same way? Is there a universal way that I should talk to both of them? Probably not, right? Some people are going to register differently. Some people are going to look at things differently. So yeah, a mixing of the two, we're totally in favor of. But on a majority, if you were to have one side, if they had to strictly defend not using digital or social media, and we had to just use social media, without a doubt, you already know automatically you're going to have access to more people. And with more people, you have more potential for a higher amount of awareness, which is the only way that you're going to boost any kind of number for anyone coming to an event. Now, they made this argument about the environment, right, and electricity and deforestation. Sure, we're using all these lights in here right now. Maybe we should debate in the dark. Maybe, I don't know. But it's inevitable, is going to be my point, is using electricity is going to be inevitable until we find an alternative means. They have not provided an alternative use of energy for us to use, to shift towards, and if we did, maybe we would use that to fuel the social media. Otherwise, then probably the deforestation and whatnot is inevitable. Or what we can do is stop cutting down the tree so we don't have a need to replant the tree that we just cut down to make the pruning in the first place. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being crazy, but... Also, you can look to a couple other reasons why, if we're really wanting to look for the best response rate and the best way for us to be able to target the most amount of people for credibility, credibility is not going to be generated necessarily just by, oh, I printed something on a paper. Think about your social media outlets. We follow people that we know, people that we trust, people that we admire, people that we like, maybe people that we don't like, right? What we do then from there is like, oh, okay, Sierra's going to the slam poetry event. And it's like, I like Sierra, and we both have this sharing commonality liking poetry. She's going, I'm going to go too. It must be a good event. So I hit, yes, I'm going to attend, aka like Facebook, for example. Someone else sees, oh, Marvin's attending an event. I know if Marvin's going, then it has to be something good, right? And see, there can easily be a chain in which you're able to get a higher level of authenticity, a higher level of justification, a higher amount of credibility, because you're actually able to have a personal relation compared to someone else who's handing you a random flyer like, hey, check out this event, bro. Like, all right, yeah, thanks, man. Okay, now it's over here. hey, check out this event. You know, right? I mean, if anything, the best thing you're going to do is you're going to look to your peers, people that you trust, people that you know. You want to go in a group. Maybe, oh, Sarah's going and she's bringing all these friends. Oh yeah, I know all them too. I want to go with them, right? And so you might have a much higher turnout rate when you're able to make things personable. That's not something you're necessarily going to be able to get if you just strictly use any kind of forms of paper or physical types of means. Now, lastly, remember at the end of the day, the best way for us to be able to even generate an amount of people for us to be able to look at us, or to get people to say, hey, this is something that we want to do, this is something we want to partake in, you have to make it something that's appealing, right? We have to actually speak to whatever, quote, quote, the audience is, right? If we're talking here on the campus, who are you targeting when you're passing out these flyers? This is something that a lot of people don't think about. If I'm going to stand outside of a communications building, what am I going to be saying? Should I maybe be saying something that's in the field of interest to them? If I'm standing outside of the African American Studies Department, maybe I should be speaking to some of the social injustices going on, right? Maybe you should target people in a different type of manner. I think social media has the best outlet for being able to do such a thing.
So how does social media have the better way of catering to different audiences? So is it your argument that these people should design 50 different kind of flyers and send it to 50 different kind of people?
I mean, that could be one potential avenue to take. I don't see why not.
So you talked about reality. Is that the reality that you want to advocate for?
So my reality would not to create a generalized type of flyer that does not take into any consideration of me. Okay, or I mean, if it does, of course I'm just going to toss it away like every other flyer of yours, right? So yes, reality is if you really want people to come, you should probably spend some time trying to address them specifically.
So
Call me crazy.
Why do you think that a print media doesn't do that?
Because if it did, then it would be working and we wouldn't have this debate.
Who said it's not working?
Well, the debate. Otherwise we wouldn't be having a dispute about it. Your numbers are down, your numbers are declining, let's be honest.
But wasn't that our argument that since the market is down, that leaves it better open? What about that?
So the market is down, that leaves it better
That
open.
leaves a bigger gap that we can now address people with.
But how are you necessarily going to do that?
Flyers.
Right, and then they go into this empty abyss of a void that gets sucked away into nothingness, right?
And
Okay.
digital media doesn't do that. It doesn't go into
Digital media is incredibly fast-paced and accelerated, and yes, a lot of it is vacuous, but at the same time, that's exactly what our generation is. It's become so accelerated that is what we're used to. Like people that are considered ADHD now, right? It's because we grew up playing video games, things flashing in front of our eyes. We're used to fast pace.
Okay,
that's what we want. So yes, of course, we're in this crazy fast little race with the digital media. That's what we're used to.
So you make this argument about the audience. How do you dispute our evidence, the 2012 evidence that says 18 to 24-year-olds rather have print and paper rather than, instead of digital media?
Goes back to my point. That audience, 18 to 24, it's missing all the rest of the particularities of those identities of those individuals. This is the reason why it's so generic and failing in the first place. Probably a small sample size group.
All right. So our opponents talked about this marketing campaign, and when you go to a marketing company, they do digital media for you. Our evidence that we have that talk about specifically about viability, visibility, retention of information, and the competition is taken from those people that do marketing management. And they definitely have a better view of marketing management that the way that you talk about it. They're saying that it has to be a mixed strategy, that the two strategies are used together. And the affirmative team is saying that we cannot use print media anymore. That's basically their argument. But we say no, we should use them in tandem because it's the most effective way to do this. Now, let's look at their arguments. They talked about the audience. Our evidence particularly talks about our evidence from a 2012 demographic that was conducted by TwoSide. Says that 2/3 of people in the 18 and 24 demographic, these are the people on campus, these are the people that you're trying to, most of the people that you're trying to get to come to your events. They rather have print and paper instead of reading off screen. Digital immediacy and print, digital has immediacy and print has permanency. They both have their place in your marketing campaign. And this is what the affirmative team is not looking at. Now visibility. The visibility of paper on campus is much more than digital media. Look at what goes on the digital world. You see multiple thousands of messages, and technically you don't pay that much attention to any of it.
don't look at the staff and faculty. Look at the students, which is majority of your audience, majority of the people that you're trying to get. They do not read their email. Look at him. He is a debater, and he should be reading his emails because I send him email, and he has 400 unread messages on his mailbox. And that's only his mailbox. Look at the messages that I send him on Facebook, and he doesn't even look at those. Reduce competition. Because not many people do print media anymore, because there's this misconception of print media is gone, there is a left open spot for you to take advantage of. When there are only 10 years ago, there were 20 people out there passing out flyers. Now these days, there are not that many people because they have this misconception that print media doesn't work, and this leaves an open segment of the market for you to take advantage of. And that's an important thing that needs to be paid attention to. The other one is the retention of information. They did a study and they found out, Santana, Livingston, and Cho from University of Oregon, people, when they have physically a flyer in their hand, even if they look at it once, they retain the information much more than the digital media. And it's important because even if they look at it once, you want them to retain that information. You want them to retain when that event is, where that event is, or to have an idea about it. Vintage days is a big deal now. Why do they pay so much attention? Because it's all over campus. Everywhere you go, there's Vintage Days written somewhere. And that's an important point that needs to be taken into consideration. Attention span. The problem is, if you have digital media, there's too much distraction. Nobody's going to look at a campus event when they have their friends to talk to. The abyss of digital media has created this problem that it reduced our attention span, so we don't look at things with a critical eye. But when you have a print media, in a reduced market of print media, you pay a lot more attention to it. Credibility. Joe Pulizzi, the author of Epic Marketing, these guys are founders of marketing companies that they try to leverage. He says that the printed word is still perceived as more credible to many people than anything on the web. It goes into the old saying that if someone invested enough time to print it, it must be important. That's the credibility that you get with print media. Now, popularity. Again, 18 to 24 market, more of these kids or 18 to 24 market wants to see print media than digital media. Why? Because they know they don't pay attention to it. They don't care when an ad goes by their eyes. Response rate. This is the thing that's very important and has been dismissed. The response rate of print media is 3.4%. The response rate of digital media is 0.12%. That is nothing. That's almost like, 40 times more in print media than digital media. Cost. Cost per lead is the important aspect that you need to take into consideration. It's not about how much it costs you to print the media. It's about how much it costs you to get one person to come to your event. In print media, it's a lot less than it's in digital media, and that's the important cost. You can put out 2,000 flyers on your website, but if nobody is coming to your event, that's not relevant. The response rate is, or the cost benefit is that's what is the point that we're making. It's basically costs less for you to get people into your events with print media than digital media. Now let's talk about the environment. We can replant trees, but we can't replace mountaintops. Appalachian mountains are getting destroyed because the digital media and the cloud market. Okay, so when you put something on the website, it doesn't go just on your website. It goes on a cloud system, and the cloud system uses coal power plants.
Oh, okay. So I know. No.
So social media is irrelevant, right?
It's not irrelevant.
Just kidding, I'm making a joke. Anyways, so you were talking a little bit about the mountaintops. So I was curious, what do you do about the mountaintops?
Okay. The companies that produce paper or do printing, they have figured it out. They replace the forest. They use
So trees.
What is that?
Like-
They plant trees that they cut down. They,
So do social media sites, any of them at all, have any kind of environmental work and plant trees?
no, they. It's not about plant. You can plant trees as much as you want,
just saying,
but you
yes,
can't replace
people do also help
mountaintop.
the
Do
environment.
they replace
and also
mountaintops?
use the social, yes, and do you,
They
are you-
replace mountaintops?
Or do your people replace mountains?
My people don't use mountaintops. Your people do.
But you're-
But then our point is that it's inevitable.
It's not inevitable. They're mixing up the
Okay, so
issue.
you're saying that the use of electronics or electricity is what causes the loss of mountains?
Not electricity,
Okay.
particularly cloud servers.
What you
Really,
have to
this
do to
isn't
fuel
what I
that.
hear to say cloud servers.
Oh.
I heard electricity and the use of coal and all this.
The cloud servers are the one that use coal.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we're talking
All
about.
right, so are you talking about the use of electricity, yes or no?
No.
Okay, that's fine. Go on.
Okay.
Well, okay, but also, does your evidence take into account of illegal logging, things of that nature? So that people.
Companies that do printing, they
Uh-huh.
cannot use illegal logging.
How do
Illegal
they-
logging is for
Okay, just because
exotic
they're not
woods.
legally bound to do that, does that mean that they don't do it?
It's for IKEA, it's not for.
Yeah, it's not
For
for.
making furniture. and-
Yeah, for a tiny company that we're talking about, it's printing companies that have to buy their logs from credible sources. Yeah,
Okay,
if
so
you want
I'm
to talk,
curious then, what is it that's necessarily competitive between your position and our position?
your position says that we should not use digital print media. Our position
Oh,
says
then you just said that digital is preferable.
that's not what you're saying. You're saying you cannot use digital media or print media.
Well, they have not disputed the fact once at all that print with digital media combined works best. Now, they say that emails are, students don't look up their emails. There's often it go into the spam folder. We do not contest that, but we said that print along with digital media works best. He gave up the example of Vintage Days, and he said this is big on campus, but you don't take into account that Vintage Days is a tradition of Fresno State. And also take into account that Vintage Days also has a page, a Facebook page. Vintage Days also gets media time on the radio, so it's not just print alone that promotes Vintage Days, it's print along with other sources of media outlets that allows Vintage Days to become as big as it is right now on Fresno State campus. And they give the example that the environment cost and that it's less likely to affect the environment if you use paper versus electronic means. Well, we had, and which still goes uncontested, that it's inevitable. Digital media, since I said right now that porn, basically social media outranks porn right now, is here to stay, it's not going away, so all this is inevitable. So the case of the matter is, which is more a viable solution to use for reaching younger audience, specifically students on campus or faculty on campus? And all of our sources say that it's social media right now in the status quo. And they said that even though they have evidence that say that students prefer to use print versus digital, I totally, I think wholeheartedly in my heart that their evidence is talking about books, because I know as a student, I prefer to read a book versus digital media. But as a student, I also prefer to not have to pay as much to get a print copy of the book, and I prefer the low cost of digital. And just because I prefer to use something doesn't mean I'm going to use it. I prefer to use the elliptical at the gym doesn't mean I'm going to use the elliptical at the gym. So just because it's preferred doesn't necessarily mean that the student is actually going to use that print media. And also, it is more of the fact that when students are walking on campus, when people are passing out flyers, they don't know exactly what that person is talking about. And so what to do, they tend to do, is to look at their phone. And this is a great example of why social media works best, or electronic digital use of flyers work best, because if students are always constantly looking at their phones, they're more likely to look at a flyer that you posted electronically. And they say that they need attention span. Well, okay, they have Vines where it takes 7 seconds to create a short video. That means that you don't need a long attention span to get a message across, and that short attention span makes it so that more people are able to see this event, are more likely to come to this event, because it can be shared and followed through various sites and various means. And this more credibility, just because somebody printed doesn't mean it's more likely to be credible. I wish I had more time. 3 minutes.
Okay, first thing I'm going to throw out that the very first thing that I read was saying that the negative believes that we have to do both, and they basically just got up here and said that we have to get both. So, one, we can just say that the -1 on that just in that last speech as it went conceded. However, if you want to play one or the other, we will show that print media still outpaces it, and you're going to constantly refer back to the 9 points that I made. First, you're going to notice that it's more visible. People can see it. There are people out there right now riding their bikes, walking around, talking to friends as they go to class, are going to see a flyer. When you're walking past and somebody hands you a flyer, I take them because I don't want to feel that bad. I mean, you don't want to dismiss. The guy's just trying to make probably like, what, $8 out there passing out flyers to people. So you take it, you look at it, and the thing is what never went addressed was the retention of it. When you're looking at your phone and you're scrolling, I would show you. I scroll on Facebook and I just like, oh, what that person's doing, what that person's doing, that's an ad, whatever, and I keep going. And the thing is, that's something that went unaddressed. They said that you may see it more online. One, that's not true, but two, they're not going to retain that information. And you're going to constantly refer back and understand that when you hand something and they have it and it's physical and they read it, one, they retain it better. Two, it's permanent, and that when they scroll to the next page, it didn't disappear. You're also going to look back towards that. There's nobody handing out flyers back there. If you had one person out there talking and saying, hey, this is going on next Tuesday, here's a flyer, this is what we're doing, you're going to have more people's attention rather than posting something and hoping somebody doesn't scroll past it while they're checking out what the family did for Easter. Also, you're going to see that people don't have that great of an attention span when looking at it, and that's the retention that you're going to go back to. And when you're looking at it, people are just scrolling past it and saying, oh, this person just posted that, there's a new picture of her from prom, and it's done. And that's something that didn't go about answered. Also, they made the very first point about credibility. However, we addressed this and said just because it looks real online doesn't mean it is, and that the credibility comes from when it's printed, when somebody takes the time to stand out there and pass it out and talk to you as you pass by and understand. And that demographic for popularity was 18 to 24 for marketing campaigns, and that's what you're looking at. You're not looking at different people, whether they went to Ivy League schools. Hell, we're at Fresno State. You're looking at people at Fresno State on campus walking by, and that's what you want. The popularity is out there, the 18 to 24, the people walking on campus now. And even if you have to choose print over digital, you're going to always go back to the response rate and notice that the response rate is, as my partner said, 42 times higher than you have it online, and that's what you want. You don't want people scrolling past it. You want people actually clicking on it, and that doesn't happen online. Also, you're going to notice that when it comes down to cost, it's you actually have a better return on your investment when you have something printed, and environmentally, when you're looking at the deconstruction and what we have to do to have the technologies to send it out and contain the servers, you're using more electricity, which cannot be replaced when trees can.
Our original position is just that social media is preferred over physical use, which means to say we're not mutually exclusive with saying combining both. Your argument is like, we're going to combine both, and it's going to be the most strategic thing ever. We're going to get all of your answers and all of your arguments. This isn't a traditional debate via we're going to the debate competition, right? We're not trying to win, and rather we're trying to find the best method and best solution to be able to resolve the issues of getting people to go to these events, right? So in that case, the best way for us to be able to do this is via preference or a higher focus on social media without foreclosing the physical use, right? Which then means, yes, we get all the benefits of using this small localized type of means of using these kind of paper distributions while also getting the huge benefit from the social media. What this means is their answers about forms of visibility, we access that. Their argument is that they'll be able to look at these flyers. Okay, what makes the difference between looking at a flyer and looking at my phone and seeing something that someone else posted that I know and actually care a little bit about? There's probably a preference to look at their flyer over the other. Sierra brings up a great point that is unanswered by them. A Vine takes 7 seconds to create an idea and get it across. Say an improv show is like, hey, this is really funny. Bam, and it ends with, come check out our show, here's the date. You remember funny. You remember things that catch your attention. 7-second attention grabbers. Why is Vine so huge? I have 400,000 followers on Instagram. If I post something, I guarantee somebody's going to look at it. And I bet somebody's going to click little heart like on there, and then it's like, oh, look, somebody looked at it. What does that mean, right? So I think there's a lot of justifications to say that there's a lot more potential for us to access a larger group and a larger demographics and a lot of specific type of audiences. If you want to talk about Fresno State, then yeah, we're not an Ivy League school, so I bet you many more people are on social media outlets. And what are they on there for? A distraction. So if your point is a distraction is what social medias are, and they're just going to blow it off, that's why they're on social media sites, to waste time, to kill time, because they feel like they got extra time to use. So, if you want to talk about all these other reasons about how it's the best way for us to access all these, scrolling past all these issues, well look, we're following people in the first place, right? We're following these individuals. We must care a little bit about what they're doing. Oh, they went on this hike and they're with this hiking group. Let me check out the hiking group. Maybe I can attend. Oh, I know 4 people that are in the group. It's probably justification to go. Also, if I have a lot of followers, it doesn't cost me money to post a flyer, does it? So if you're talking about turnout rates per lead, okay, well it costs me no money to post my flyer on there. I have 400,000 flyers, maybe 1,000 people glance at it. Oh, maybe 1%, 100 of them show. It costs me nothing to post that. Okay, so maybe it costs us some deforestation, maybe some of the inevitable impacts of deforestation, and we need to plant some trees. Well then here, the affirmative then will advocate that we'll go out and plant some trees. We'll help out. Maybe we'll clean up some stuff. I mean, I think that if anything, the social media is not foreclosed from being able to engage in these things. And lastly, it's probably going to be inevitable in terms of the environmental damages. And additionally, about the campaigns that they're talking about, we have a campaign manager, Dr. Cruz from Columbia. He's a pet expo. He goes and produces more followers for companies to get them higher turnout rates for their shows. Social media rocks.
The affirmative team came up here and ignored a bunch of our points. We made 9 points that were ignored. Most of them were ignored, and they didn't talk about it. Hands down, from the top of the debate, this is what my partner read at the beginning of the debate. We want to start our refutation by saying that we're not against digital media. We think digital marketing is here to stay, but what sets us apart from the affirmative team is that we believe digital advertising must be supplemented by print media. We have 9 reasons why. It's written on the paper, so if that's the case, we win the debate because we gain access to that ground. They are the affirmative team. They have to prove that digital media is better. Standalone is better. That's not how it works. They're saying that you cannot use digital print media to subsidize digital media, and that's not true. For 9 reasons. Visibility. You have more visibility when you use print media than you have when you use digital media. Reduce competition, because not many people use print media anymore. It gives you an open market to use that to your benefit, to give that message out a little bit more. Retention of information. It doesn't matter how much information you put out there. If people are not retaining it, if they're scrolling past it, even if they read it and they don't retain it, it does not matter. Dr. Santana, Livingston, and Cho from University of Oregon show in their research that retention of information is much higher in print media than digital media. Attention span. In reality, this is a campus event that you're trying to advocate for. People do not look at it if it's online. They scroll past it. I work on campus and I scroll past events on campus. So what do you expect from students? Credibility. Research, empirical research shows that the credibility of a piece of paper or print media is much higher because people put in the time to design it, to print it. Popularity, again, it went out of the window for them because empirical research shows the population of 18 to 24, 2/3 of them, this is 66% of them, prefer print media in marketing campaigns. It's not talking about textbooks, it talks about marketing campaigns. Response rate. If you want people to come to your event, you want a high response rate. You don't want, the exposure doesn't really matter as much as the response rate. It's how many people you get to come to your event. And that is much higher in print media than digital media. Cost is much lower per, cost per lead is much lower in print media than digital media. And an environment. You can plant as much trees as you want, but you cannot replace mountaintops. If you're talking about replacement of resources, mountaintops cannot be replaced. Thank you. And that concludes our debate. Just like any debate, there's no...
Well, we appreciate your efforts. You did your research and very convincing on both sides. I think we all walked away with a lot of great information. And again, thank you very much for coming here today. Let's give them a hand.